I'm supposed to talk about the victory of the new constitution, a pro-life constitution in Hungary. You will see that the victory is not complete, but anyway, it's a very important first step towards full victory. So this presentation was prepared by Imre Teglási, who is the leader of Alfa Alliance, and myself. So he is also standing here, okay? The title is his idea, Celestial and Terrestrial Constitution. So I will start from a bit far, but I will be short, don't worry. Good, so what do we mean by Celestial Constitution? The letter M, you will see how it comes to pro-life. The letter M looks quite alike in many languages, in Greek, in Latin, in Cyrillic, and ancient Hungarian as well, modern Hungarian as well. The words mother and the words for sea, water, very often start with an M. And this is no coincidence. If you think of the common mythological motive of gods being born out of water, so the idea of motherhood and water are somehow related. If you think of Aphrodite, who is a goddess born out of water, being the goddess of love, she is also a goddess of fertility, of making love and fertility, so birth as well. Water is, mythologically speaking, is thought of as the ancient feminine element. And this is a Roman relief showing a childbearing mother. And you will see waves are also M-shaped if you show them like this. And the legs of a mother while giving birth is also M-shaped. So this is the cue that leads all this together. Maternity is also, of course, related to Christianity, and if you think Jesus' mother's name also starts with an M. And she's also called the Star of the Seas in Hungarian, and I think in many Catholic. This is a metaphor for her, the Star of the Sea, Stella Maris. If you look at the Hungarian coat of arms, you will see the M shape as well here. And we often think of Hungary as a mother country, especially I think of it as a mother country because I originally come from Romania, Transylvanian part of Romania, so which is not part of Hungary today. It used to be, but it's not part of it today. And I often think of Hungary as a mother country for all those regions that used to belong to it. And the central hill in the coat of arms stands for the baby. If you think of these two at the sides as the legs of the mother who is giving birth, this is the baby. And the symbol of a baby being born out, kings are born out of that mother country. So this is the idea of symbols and mythological things connected to this idea of mother, water, and Hungary. So Hungarian iconology shows a deep understanding and a deep awareness of this celestial constitution, which is based on the universal law of life. So let's come to the terrestrial constitution now, made by people and not by God. So as you heard this morning out of the YouTube video, the American guy, this is the part of the new constitution, Article 2. So it runs, human dignity shall be inviolable, every human being shall have the right to life and human dignity. There's a comma here, and you'll see that this is important. Embryonic and fetal life shall be subject to protection from the moment of conception. The act was passed, the fundamental law was passed with a grand majority on Easter Monday, so it's often called the Easter Constitution. The question for us is this a resurrection of pro-life values? Let's see. There was much support in the background. On January the 25th, for example, there was a rally in which 1 million people expressed their acceptance of the new constitution, not only the pro-life sentence, but also the whole.
What's the population in Hungary, just so that we have a...
10 million.
Wow, so it's a tenth of the population.
Yeah.
10% okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. 2 million of the Hungarian population, which 1/5 of the population live in the capital. So it's a huge capital. So like 1/2 of the capital went into the streets, but of course other people coming from other parts of Hungary as well. So what were the antecedents to the new preamble? Abortion was legalized in Hungary in 1956. Just for your information, this is the same year as the revolution against Soviet. Yeah, so it's the same year. Since then, more than 6 million abortions were performed, so they were legally aborted. And legally, it's important because, of course, there are other methods as well. So, according to some people, there are probably 8 million abortions altogether since then. The law is in force, so this is the bad news part. We have the new constitution, but no new law. So at this point, the constitution is on the level of rhetoric. It's only of rhetoric. It's only words up to now. We need to change the legislation so that it becomes practically true. It's only an idea now, a very important idea, but no practice yet. Legislation allows for abortion in 3 cases: pregnancies as a result of crime, rape, medical indications, the ones you saw, and now I know that this is not abortion, but anyway, pregnancy is stopped. And cases of severe crisis. Now this is the most critical point in the law. What is severe crisis? It's a so-called rubber paragraph, so anything can be thought of as a severe crisis. I am a psychologist. From a psychological point of view, every pregnancy is a crisis. So then, what happens? So this is the rubber paragraph that needs to be changed. By the way, in the previous constitution, no mention of protecting fetal life was made. So this is a huge thing that we have this idea in the new constitution now. I have to tell you that, am I too far from the microphone? Okay. So I have to tell you that Hungary is a child-loving country. Even so, according to some surveys, national surveys, representative surveys, statistically representative surveys, 70% of the Hungarians declare that one cannot be happy without a child. So if someone has no children, he cannot be happy. 70% of the population think this way. Another fact resulting from national representative surveys is that in Hungary, young couples usually plan for more children than the number that are finally born. if you can follow what I mean. So like, for example, they start off thinking that, okay, we will have 3 or 4 children, and then only 1 or 2 are born. And, well, people are working on why this happens. Of course, it has many, many reasons, financial reasons, first of all, and so on and so forth. According to officials who are working with women who apply for abortion, we don't have abortion clinics. Abortion is done in maternity hospitals, but there is this committee that women who want to have an abortion, they have to present themselves in front of this committee. And those people who work at these committees say that 90% or 95% of the women don't really want this abortion. They are somehow pressed by certain factors. And one of the, so it's external pressure basically, and one of the most important, one of the important factors which press women towards abortion is lack of partner support. This is the most important factor. Basically, the fathers are not present. This rate is 30 to 60% in the United States, external pressure. In Hungary, it's more than that. So, as Imre, my colleague, put it, it's a case of victimization of women. In 2006, at the 50th anniversary of the abortion law, this is one of the things that Alfa Alliance did. 600 roses were thrown in the Danube as a remembrance of the 6 million dead babies. The picture was made of this event. This also rings a bell. Throwing into the Danube is kind of symbolic in Hungary because, for example, Jewish people were also killed during the Second World War, shot off and fallen in the Danube. So that's a kind of reminiscence of that as well, that Jews were just as powerless at that time as unborn babies are powerless now. So what could be the consequences of the new preamble? Can abortion and other crimes against life declared illegal and criminalized? This is a question that I cannot answer now. It remains to be seen. And as you know, the main aim is not to criminalize abortion, not to make women go to jail. As you work for this cause, you know this is not the real solution. The real solution is to make them change their minds as often as possible. So shall the government submit to the parliament the acts necessary to implement this new fundamental law? We don't know. We'll see. Just a few words about how the government is made up now in Hungary. There is a ruling conservative coalition, right-wing coalition. Fidesz is the biggest party in the coalition, the Hungarian Civil Party, and KDNP, the Christian Democrats, is the smaller partner in the coalition. So the first is bigger but less concerned about pro-life issues. The second one is the smaller one, but they played an important role in the formulation of the new constitution. But it's smaller and less powerful. And one politician, I don't want to mention his name, it's not important, but this is what he said. The act itself can come to have a reality once the opinion of the majority of society changes regarding this topic. That's true, but how will it change? So it's a lot of work to be done. So what is the pessimistic version? The Constitution remains a noble wish. It remains pure rhetoric, and de facto nothing will change. Because we need new legislation, and this is more difficult than changing the, so it's kind of a reversed situation than what is in Portugal now. Because I understand that you fight for making an amendment to the Constitution, right?
We cannot,
no.
Just the legislation.
Okay, just the legislation.
But that's
so
what you're trying to do
have,
through the legislation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's then we have the same task, right? One more idea, which is again not good news. The new Constitution does not state the fetus's subjective right to life. It's overruled if it clashes with the mother's right to life. This is, of course, logical, no problem. The latter is still stronger. This is a rule of life, right? That when the mother's life is in danger, the first idea is to keep that life and not multiplicate. What is more? Yes.
I'm sorry, but those cases are very rare, or doesn't exist because an abortion is more traumatization physically and to die of the mother than a delivery.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, but this is on the level of words.
Yes.
This is the rhetoric that we have to
Yes, and Dr.
fight
Owen was
against.
talking about that. It's able to make that decision.
Okay. What is more, the new preamble does not state that the fetus is a legal entity. It doesn't appear in the fundamental law that he is a person. So personhood is not mentioned. And then the woman's right to autonomy can call the fetus's right to life in question. Same problem, always the same problem. So what is the optimistic version? The new Constitution represents an unprecedented opportunity for Hungary to become a real mother country based on the culture of life. So that's what we need to fight for. Let's hope that the abortion law will be changed. Not necessarily in a stricter way, so those 3 cases in which abortion is allowed can stay in place, no problem. But the last one, what does severe crisis mean? So that needs to be more exact, right? Like specified in detail. What counts as severe crisis, okay? Another piece of good news is that this is not a 2/3 law, so 51% of votes are enough to change it. So this is the optimistic version. Just a few words about Alfa Alliance that I represent now. There are several groups, pro-life groups in Hungary, so we are just one of them. There are like maybe 6. Their activity level is different. We like to think of ourselves as being one of the active agents in Hungary. It's an affiliate of Human Life International, which was founded 16 years ago, and the objective is to help unwanted children to be carried out to term. There is a round-the-clock hotline. So-called Alfa voices are at the end of these phone lines. They receive calls from pregnant women in crisis, and during these 16 years, there have been more than 4, how much is that? 40,000 cases, phone calls. The main aim is to help the pregnant women make up their minds and to ask for support from family, because as you see, the main reason for going for an abortion is lack of support So, okay, let's look for sources of power in your neighborhood, family, friends. And this is our result, not much, but it is a lot. Like one life is a lot. So 800 babies have been saved from death or from being given up for adoption. So they were kept, basically. Another aim is to provide accommodation for women in mothers' shelters, nursing homes, and there have been more than 2,500 cases. Some other activities is preparing adoptions. So this is the last resort. If the woman is unable to keep her baby in any way, then okay, let's go for adoption. It's better than killing the baby. Another activity is promoting abstinence and offering sex education among the youth, going to schools, organizing conferences, publishing printing materials, and being present in the media. One of the most important results is the so-called abortion-free days. There are 3 days during the year, which we call abortion-free days. And the movement is the following. Every year on the 28th of December, we organize a big rally. The 28th of December, I don't know it in English.
Holy Innocents.
Yeah, thank you. Holy
Innocents.
Innocents, that's right, the Holy Innocents. The rally starts off from a church and goes in front of a hospital. This is, of course, organized previously. And then we ask the hospital to join the abortion-free movement, which means not doing abortions on these 3 days of the year, just 3 days. 38 hospitals have joined the movement until now. This is one of the most recent activities, 3 Steps into Life. You might have read about it in the HLI newspaper. There was a big press conference for the publication of the book Embracing the Cross of Infertility by Dr. Marie Joseph Green's wife, who is the leader, one of the leaders. Am I right?
Yes.
Human Life International. Okay. And there was an international conference for healthcare professionals. The second step into life was another conference, but it showed pro-life movies. Unfortunately, not many people attended this. And the third was a big rally. A lot of people attended it to abolish abortion and energize the pro-life movement throughout Europe. So not only Hungary, throughout Europe. This was on the 20th of December. Okay. This ended in a memorandum. So the rally went up to the president's house with this memorandum. They read it out loud. No answer. This is the same person who a month ago resigned. You might have heard. It's a case of plagiarism. Have you heard about it? Okay, anyway, so it turned out that his doctoral thesis, his PhD thesis, was 30% or more based on some other scholars' work. So finally he resigned.
We have worse here.
How many people at the rally?
I don't know numbers, but lots of people. Thousands, I don't know. Not as much as the 1 million for the Constitution. So the truth is we are gradually losing all kinds of financial support from Hungarian sources. So be it not for international sources, we wouldn't have any money. So I'm really interested in what Owen said about minimal budget. Sometimes we are losing enthusiasm, but not losing faith. One more thing I would like to show you, last slide, is this website, yesforhungary.eu. I would ask you to visit the website and register if you can. It's a PR work. If you register, there is a baby being drawn by the computer, and as more and more people register, the baby is bigger and bigger. So it's just a nice PR.
Your site's in English?
Yes, in English as well. So this is in English. We have a Hungarian version, but this is in English. Okay, so that's it.